have a question for you. How many times do you get asked that how much do you spend on that trip? Or how many times do you wonder how much is she spending on all those trips? I mean, she should be rich to travel so much. Well, today I'm going to break the stereotype and tell you how much I spend on my trips. I'm a budget traveler and I always promote traveling within a budget and not splurging a lot. So first things first, I am Akanksha and this is my YouTube channel, Globetrotting Heels, and if you haven't subscribed to it yet, you know what to do. I don't need to tell you. So I recently went on a trip to Melbourne for 7 days with 5 more of my friends, and if you haven't seen those videos, go back there in my YouTube and watch them. I was told that Melbourne was much cheaper than Sydney and Sydney is very expensive. So I thought that, you know, we might be able to make it a very budget trip and not spend a lot in those 7 days. So what are we going to talk about today? Firstly, I'm going to tell you if you can do Melbourne on a budget. And secondly, I will tell you, is Melbourne actually cheap? Is it really cheaper than Sydney, and is it really better than Sydney? And thirdly, I'm going to tell you how much I ended up spending at the end. Was it under the budget, over the budget, or just around what I had planned? Also, I would like to mention that I was traveling during the Easter long weekend, and it is usually the busiest long weekend in all over Australia. A, it's public holiday, so there are surcharges at a lot of places. B, it's busy, so the prices hike up pretty much like double the usual prices, and that way you end up spending more than you would naturally. So that was a big factor in the expenditure. So I just want to keep it clear and put it out there before we go ahead. So stay tuned and let's jump onto the video.
I'm fed up with changes. Come pick me up cause I just wanna see the light. I wanna be weightless. Teach me to fly, I won't be coming down. Could somebody wake me up? I don't wanna be here and let the world pass me by.
We took Virgin Airlines. They had some really amazing deals going on as soon as Melbourne Lockdown ended, and we bagged a return flight from Sydney to Melbourne for $132 per person, which was pretty good. It included bags and food as well, so it was a 1 hour something flight. Pretty decent, and I think we bagged a good deal. I think you can do it for even cheaper. I have seen deals for like even $39 one way, so you can definitely go cheaper there. But because it was public holiday, it was already quite expensive. And what do you think I did after I landed at the Melbourne airport? Well, obviously we went to pick up our car.
Ain't too restless to be in this dusty town. I've heard of this place where people forget and you get another try.
We had booked an 8-seater Kia Carnival from economy bookings, and it cost us, the whole thing for 7 days was $558, which was split amongst 6 people, and it ended up to be $93 per person for 7 days, which was pretty good. With cars, as usual, there will be fuel as well, which was not too expensive. For the whole trip, for all 7 days, I think we refueled twice or something, and it ended up being around $20. I can't remember the exact amount, but it was around $20 per person for the whole trip. The next major expenditure that I find when I'm traveling is accommodation, and I had planned to not spend more than $50 a day for accommodation anywhere throughout Melbourne, and we had planned to stay at 3 different places. So looking for a place in that budget during that long public holiday weekend was a bit of a task. Just got into the hotel. We stayed at 3 different places. The first one was in the heart of Melbourne, in Melbourne CBD. We stayed at Wyndham Hotel for 3 nights, the first 3 nights, and it was an amazing hotel. So close to tram stations, so close to everything. It was right in the middle of the city and perfect location. If you're looking for something, that is a great hotel. We ended up spending $156 each person for 3 nights, which was $52 per person per night. just $2 over my budget, not much. Okay, did I do good? After Melbourne CBD, we had decided to go to Great Ocean Road for a day, but then we thought it's a shame if we go there for just one day and come back without staying. When I had started looking, there were plenty of places, but then as the day came when I wanted to book, actually they've all gone within, I think, 2 weeks. The remaining places that were there were either too expensive or they were really like not great and overpriced, or there was nothing for 6 of us. But luckily we found a place called Comfort Inn International in Apollo Bay, which was a bit steep and overpriced, but we ended up spending $78 per person for one night in that place. And the last place that we stayed at in Melbourne was in South Bank, and we stayed at a place called Rise Australia, which is the tallest building in all of Southern Hemisphere. We have checked into Rise Australia 108, which is a beautiful hotel in South Bank. It is also the tallest tower in all over Southern Hemisphere. It's taller than the Sydney Tower, it's taller than the Eureka Skydeck. So this is a really great place to stay. We got it for pretty cheap. I think about $56 per person, and this is amazing. I mean, look at the view, it's so great. I'm going to show you how it looks in the morning, but I'm so excited and so happy that I booked this place. We are going to check out from Rise Australia, and I want to mention that we have not had a good experience with this place. The views are amazing, no doubt in that, but the service was pretty bad, so I would not recommend this place, but always it's your choice if you want to have a look at it. I have a small appetite. I eat twice a day, and if needed I have a lot of snacks. So my daily budget for food was $50. I am really happy to say that I stuck to that budget. I did not overspend. If I was overspent one day, I could make it up the next day or in the next meal. So I could keep that balance, and I stuck to that $300 budget for food, which was pretty good. And Melbourne has a crazy food scene. We loved eating everywhere. It was just amazing. Like, it was heaven for me. And over there, I would say the food is not really cheap. It's equally expensive as Sydney. I mean, one meal is going to easily cost you around $20. You get public holiday surcharges, so it was even more expensive for us. But the food is amazing, worth it. Places are amazing, such unique creations, such beautiful, I don't know what to say. The food scene is pretty good there. Loved it. Apart from food, accommodation and traveling, we ended up spending some amount of money in activities. Not that a lot of that happened, but yes, we did. We went to Domain Shandon Winery in Yarra Valley. If you haven't seen that video, see it here. It was pretty good experience, and we did wine tasting and cheese tasting, and for all of that, platters and everything, I think we spent $12.5 per person, which was pretty alright. And next up we did was Sky High Mount Dandenong, where, well, entry is free, but you have to pay $7 for parking, so that was there. And we also spent $30 per person in Peninsula Hot Springs for the bathhouse experience. That video is also up there if you want to see it. But yeah, all of that activities I think costed us around $50, and at the end, this is how much money I spent, and that was exactly my budget, between $1,000 and $1,100, and bringing in miscellaneous and everything inside. I think I did pretty well. That was my budget, but again, I want to tell you, I went on Easter and I actually paid a lot of money for food, accommodation, cars and traveling airfare. So you can do Melbourne for far cheaper than what I did. And I want to break this myth that Melbourne is cheaper than Sydney. It is not. Listen to me, it's not. Accommodation is cheaper, car rental is cheaper, I agree, but fuel is expensive. Fuel was way too expensive. And food is equally cheaper, drinks are more expensive. So I think where you save on one hand, you spend on the other. So it's like you balance it out. It's not more expensive or less cheaper. It's equally expensive as Sydney. So you can do Melbourne for lesser than I did. Save on food, accommodation and flights, but you will end up spending a bit of money if you go there, because Australia is expensive in general. You can't travel in Australia for cheap. Make a note of that. But that doesn't mean you should not travel. Go for lesser days, go for places where you won't be spending so much money cooking, eating, and it's just a great place to travel to and explore Australia, the land down under. I love it. And if you like my video, do subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and hit on that like button and share my video. Show the world how good I'm doing if you think I'm doing good. And I will see you next week with another video.